Good evening, everybody. Um, and thank you, AFAX. Thank you, Shrikant, for inviting me to do this. And before I begin anything, thanks to our supporting sponsor, Nickelodeon. Um, I was telling my colleagues on the panel that I was looking at data from 2003 to now, and everybody said it's out of syllabus question. But really, news is an area which excites a lot of passion, which arouses a lot of discussion, and it's one of the few reasons I don't write much about it now, because my editors also get excited and they have 20 opinions on any piece I write about the news industry. But jokes aside, the business has grown phenomenally in the last, if I was to look at 15, 17, 20 years, whatever period. So 2003, when NDTV launched separately as a channel, we had about five or six news channels in India. And everybody said, oh, we have too many channels and too much is happening. And I remember writing pieces about how we could have more, because India is such a heterogeneous market. So many languages, so many areas that we need more channels. 10 years later, 7 years later, in 2011, we had about 120 or 130 news channels, about 1,800 in top line roughly. Now, 2020, we have about over 400. I couldn't find the last reference on the MIB site, but the last reference I looked at was 425. Okay. And more than the channels, there is the fact that news is a huge portion of the television we view. So from about 5% of national television share in 2004 or so, we are now at 9%. I think it's hung around between 7 and 8% throughout, if I was to look at the average over 20 years. And in the last 2 years, it has jumped significantly. It was already at 8.9% when COVID happened. It crossed 9% briefly, and it has now settled, I think, at 9%. Please correct me if I'm wrong on any of the numbers. Feel free. I'm just going by publicly available numbers. So, and remember, this is on the expanded version of viewership. So the percentages don't really tell you the number of people who've come into the news watching universe. It's huge. I mean, one channel could be having 150, 100, 200 million people watching a show at the same time. So it's huge. And COVID has created a huge surge in TV viewership, overall 9% growth in TV viewership. A bulk of this growth has gone to news channels, kids channels, and movie channels. And that's what we are going to examine today, that what has COVID done to the news business, and therefore has it made it more interesting and more viable? Because that was one big question mark over the news business every time we spoke about it. I don't know if Avinash I'm going to call them AK and AP for the audience's benefits, if AK and AP remember this. But every time we've talked about rates improve hue ke nahi, indexing theek hai ki nahi, all those issues about getting full sort of credit for the reach that news had. With that, I'm going to ask each of my panelists to jump in and say what has COVID meant for them and for their business. So first of all, I have Avinash Pandey, who is the CEO of ABP Network. I don't know how the screens are arranged for everybody, but there's Karthik Sharma, who's the Group CEO for Omnicom Media. There's Vikram Sakhuja, Group CEO, Madison Media and OH. I'm sorry, I'm not reading out all the full long, and AK, your designation is the longest. So Avinash Kaul, who's the CEO of Network 18, and there's lots of other things along with his designation, but for the purposes of this discussion, this will suffice. AP, you want to start off?
Yes, actually when COVID struck us, we had no idea about the degree of uncertainty. We knew that there is a certain degree of unpredictability in the environment. The virus was new, its impact were not known. The only thing that we knew that sooner or later our movement would be restricted. And hence, the first challenge for a company like ours is to make sure that the business goes on. Because much of what we do happened by just sitting at home. At the same time, we were also realizing that our business is to serve advertising to the consumer, if I can describe that way, because it's an advertising forum. And if you are not buying anything, you are not stepping out of the home, it is very difficult to go and tell someone to advertise. However, the history of the crisis has taught us that people, companies, and brands who have invested during the moment of the crisis, they have come out always stronger than that, than before. So we had our sales team worked overnight, talking to all the agencies across the country, and I'm saying that the worry was similar standard at the agency level. That how do we make sure that the advertising continuity shall be in place? A lot of channel, including offers like lucrative incentives to people to advertise during the COVID period. They were essential commodities which were allowed traded. And I can simply tell you that we have two CEOs who advertised during that time and spoke on our internal webinar and shared with us what experience that they had during that time. Because the factory was locked in, there was in the transport, we were supposed to reach at a certain place. In certain categories, it was difficult to convince the local administration that a conflict is a essential commodity. You know, so it was a huge experience for us to serve not only the audience of the latest news by asking your reporter to step out of the home, knowing fully well that you're asking them to expose their life to a deadly disease, and then asking advertisers to advertise so that our advertising inventory is filled up and our
Sorry, advertising inventory?
is filled up.
Okay.
And consumer, the audience gets to know the product and services. So it was a very challenging time. We all came out of it. Thankfully, by July, the inventory was more than inventory was not available for selling. It was all filled up. 20% excess that normally happens in our industry. In fact, it started happening from June. But yeah, April and May was extremely tough for the business.
Okay, great. Karthik, you want to, I know that you represent Mediabuying, but from a perspective of news, I mean, what it is that COVID changed for you, if I was to news broadcast?
I think the news environment, news channels in India last few years have been very vibrant in terms of number of players coming in and offering. Once the pandemic started, I think it became kind of a default, mode or a platform for most consumers to go and actually check out what is happening. Because if you just rewind in our memories, there was a sense of massive panic which started from the time the lockdown happened. People are all grappling with what really it meant for, of course, the world, the economy, and most importantly, each individual. It was almost at all kinds of gory stories, everyday statistics coming in across in various media. And news, my sense, actually provided like a trust factor. It went off to provide that information every single minute, hour, whichever news channel that you can think of. And that gave the information, even people who were probably not watching news started watching news. So they came into the picture. So that's the big change. Also, it became the voice of the nation in some sense. So there were many programs run by the government, many announcements, as we all know, which the Prime Minister did. All that was kind of well supported by all the news channels. And the role of media in that sense during a crisis and what it can play, how it can shape uh, country, was something all of us felt. We may not have said it in our day to day, but everyone went back again and again to figure out what really was happening. To me, the role of news, just the reach provided. Yes, it continued to provide reach. The role changed to really doing some service for the nation, at least during that 2 months period. And that's the reason why some of the changes and the growth continues to be there while it's come down compared to the COVID period times. But it played a very important role, almost like a friend.
Okay. Okay. AK, you want to take it from the broadcaster's perspective? Once again, it will be. AK, you're on mute.
Audible now, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
now.
So I mean, pretty much what Avinash Pandey mentioned. I mean, for us, the entire period of COVID has been a period of reinvention. And the way I'm using this reinvention is not just in the context of the advertising sales business, but in the nature of the business as we have always seen it happen. So at a time when whole world was inside, our journalist had to be outside because somebody's got to show what's happening outside in the world and put his or her safety second to what the interest of the nation is at that point of time. The complexity was added because obviously the regulation or the authorities in different areas or different states had different regulation.
Yeah.
So the pan-India network, if Chandigarh was on lockdown today, then Chennai wasn't, and Chennai had a different curfew system and multiple different geographies had different challenges. So for us, the biggest challenge of those times was logistics management, how to make sure that the newscasters reach studios well in time for the fleet to pick them up because public transport was no longer available, and to make sure that the show must go on because none of the channels have blanked out during all this entire period while people were cooped up in their homes. It also made a lot of innovations come to the fore. It made sure that we were able to provide our news anchors connections from their homes so they could broadcast live directly from their homes. It also meant that operationally the costs fairly went up at that point of time, because for doing all of these kinds of things, you really got to innovate very quickly. And you really need to make sure that when your show goes on air, you've got to make sure that safety is paramount for people.
Correct.
Which obviously meant also additional content, because there wasn't enough advertising inventory on news channels, which are used to very heavy levels of inventory, which means that you got to supplement more and more level of content. And there was an insatiable amount of, the thirst for knowledge. I mean, I don't recollect any, in the last couple of decades, maybe the number of times the Prime Minister has come on television, the periodicity during the COVID time was pretty high. And every time there was, for example, any activity to be done by the Prime Minister, the surge in the viewership was just amazing, because you could see that is everybody lighting a lamp at a particular time, or if there is the bells and whatever was asked to be rung at a certain point of time, or thanking all the frontline workers. I mean, those have all seen historically even higher than the World Cup cricket matches, those kinds of viewership, which is also evident if you see when you have nothing else to do at home, you are consuming heavy doses of television because you don't know really what else to see. The bandwidth increased. There was a strain, if you remember in the earlier weeks, the strain on internet connectivity was huge at homes. So television came back into fore, and news channels really came back into fore for doing exactly what they always meant to do. And what you suggested, Vanita, is that on BARC actually more than 200 news channels are measured with their ratings, while there might be 400, 200 are measured. And all of them came in glory, with everybody glued on and trying to see what is happening there. It also forced, for a week or two, you get shocked into a state of denial that, that this is temporary, it will pass. And then you begin to think that, really that we need to reinvent ourselves even from a revenue perspective. So what happened as a consequence, regularly, because the clients were facing the same issues. It was April, May, it was the first summer, the creatives were not even made for some of the clients because the creative agencies could no longer shoot anything. So how do you make sure that you come out with commercials even that are in line with the thought or the mood of the nation at that point of time? You cannot suddenly make funny commercials or funny jokes at a point of time when there is such a negative environment around you, right? Or a sensitive environment around you. So what we ended up doing is stepped up and ended up making commercials for clients, right? So we made some commercials for some of the largest clients in the safety of, including celebrities doing it at their homes, where they would self-shoot it on their, videos on their phones, send it across to us. So that messaging became really big for us. It also made up, we obviously, like Avinash Pandey also mentioned, a lot of close interaction with clients and agencies to make sure that we were coming out with communication that was really needed at that point of time for the general masses. Right? A lot of what you would call as a CSR-ish kind of a zone is what we ended up doing a lot of work with a lot of clients. And that interactions are continuing till date because everybody is seeing a very different language on how to communicate. It's not always about selling a particular product or a good. It's about selling the thought leadership that, for example, if a big FMCG is relying on a particular category of people who now have been affected because migrant class of workers have, gone back to the small towns. So people are doing things which are far beyond what their normal day-to-day dog-eat-dog world of business is leading them to do. So
I'm going to come back to this. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's been a refreshing pause, and it enabled all the business functions. So, for example, if I look at news as a business, these innovations have helped us even realize the impact of real estate. Can we move now online? A lot more of our business, a lot more of our digital business is now moved to work from home. A lot of television business has moved to work from home. We are realizing that, having a lot of real estate presence isn't really, going to add any great value to these things. So overall, I think the business will turn out to be far more efficient in the longer run, because for the first time in the 2 decades that news has been in a hyper growth area, there was a forced intervention of a pause and relook at the business practices. And I think that will lead to a healthier business practices for the future. So that's my...
I'm going to come back to this issue. I'm going to come back to this point about commercial and making commercials for clients, etc., and also on the CSR thing, because I have a question there. But first, I want Vikram to jump in with whatever he wants to say, and then we.
Look, from a COVID standpoint, advertising crashed by 90% in April, about 75-80% in May, maybe 50% in June, and now it's started coming back. Now, at that point in time, concomitantly, we saw that TV overall viewerships jumped up dramatically, maybe 40%. And within that, share of news went up from 7%, like you were mentioning, or 8%, like you were mentioning, to 20%. So one thing that it meant is the sparse money that was available in April and May, at a time when all others were literally giving just about any, firstly, there wasn't anybody willing to advertise, but they were willing to give serious discounts to get that money. At least news was able to hold on to their pricing and at least attract whatever money, because they just had so many eyeballs coming to them. The part which I think from there, the way it's moved is, and maybe there's a slight opportunity loss that they've had, is somewhere from a 20% and share which they had, they've slipped back to 19%. So yes, news is probably driven by all the stuff that is happening, and this, and beyond a point, the sameness happens, and the pandemic and everything else to go with it is now maybe reaching some degree of same, so nothing new to come in there. But there could have been an opportunity to maybe consolidate on some of the gains which they've not been able to. That said, I think in this period, most of the advertisers, the ones who wouldn't have news as a general part of their plan, clearly brought in news into their mix. So I think now good news for news from a standpoint of today's discussion is, I think people have tasted what a news in their plan can do, when even for those who weren't there earlier.
Can you share an example here? Clients who were not on news?
Let's not talk clients at this point in time. They may not like it also.
Okay.
But clearly, look, people, in all of this, somewhere you got to ask the question that what is it that news is being used for? And now you was finding that, even think Karthik alluded to that, there was a high degree of reach. In fact, most of the growth that happened was with more numbers coming into news channels, of people coming in, rather than the average time spent, which also increased, but not as much. So more people were coming in. So you were able to actually, with a plan, get to reach, and nobody, people typically think of GEC and movies as reach channels. But for quite a while now, it was much before COVID also, we knew that for males, news was like a second GEC as far as reach is concerned. The problem was average time spent. If you have average time spent along with the reach, you could have actually had another GEC in news. If you look at news, a lot of news is not just news, but it's also a whole lot of other entertainment that
Stuff.
comes inside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it was actually a very credible male platform, and that bastion was now broken for women as well. So you actually find that this was an opportunity where reach was coming in. They had a great opportunity to increase average time spent. That probably they have not been able to, but clients have gone to them. They've started using them. Some of them like it, and therefore move and they've stayed on with them. So I
Karthik, you
think,
want? Sorry, Vikram. I thought you'd finished. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
So that was it. I think somewhere what we should discuss, if you want to talk boom time for news channels, is that moving forward, does news want to sell itself like a ER or effective rate channel or a CPRP channel? You have the source credibility at this point in time because of the reach that you get to sell on CPRP, but you guys just shy from doing that. If you want to enter the big league and be seen as a general entertainment, why don't you try that?
I would say why not CPM, but I'm going to come
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to the
CPM
broadcasters
is
on
my
this one.
CPM is my bug there. So you don't get me started on that.
So that's why, because CPRP, every advertiser would like. But Karthik, I wanted to weigh in on this, on the what Vikram said, and he made some very interesting points, I think. But on different categories and how broadcasters, news broadcasters, whether they've leveraged it as well or not. And because, April, May, what consumption is happening, so who's consuming, so why the hell should I advertise? And also a supplementary question to, I think, all of you, when you say that viewership increased, a lot of it is like kids, adults are also watching kids channel and therefore kids viewership goes through the roof. So in news, if you're saying 97% of your homes are single TV homes and everybody is sitting there, viewership is bound to increase because everybody's sitting in front of that TV. So then they get counted as a viewer. How much of that viewership is really relevant is also a question I had. Yeah, Karthik.
Okay, very interesting question. I think categories which are naturally on news and could do relevant communications, of course, they continued. But new advertisers, they did not, unless you had credible communication with the mood of the nation, because the mood was completely down and
Yeah, that's
to
interesting.
have
Yeah.
because that held back a lot of advertisers. In fact, I know at least 3 or 4 of them who had communication but made a conscious choice not to put, a song and dance, and they respected the mood of the consumers, and I think it's the right choice. Having said that, the opportunity which Avinash Kaul spoke about, there have been some very interesting initiatives, both by brands going to the channels or channels coming up with ideas to the brand, whichever way it would have happened. Uh, uh, I think there was a lot of contextual messaging which played an important role. So there are two questions, right? There is a viewership increase which has happened. Whether advertising is relevant and will it continue is another question. So if you, that's a question which probably Vikram was also asking in a different way in his earlier commentary. Going forward, see the reasons why we buy news. There are multiple things. One is, of course, you have all the maths behind it. You have reach, you have time spent. You can do all that analysis and arrive at that. There are some set of advertisers where there are proven reasons through whatever studies that they may have done and the role of news in building business, in building sales. Uh, there are a handful of advertisers like that. Context plays very important role in which media plays. Don't talk
Correct.
enough of context, because
Absolutely.
context changes behavior. Context changes the way people perceive. So if I see something nice, my mood changes. If I see something maybe distressing, my mood can, and therefore my behavior. So how does that pan out, and how do news channels want to do that? It's a choice that they will have to make. What kind of, is it only sensational news they want to talk? Is it very topical news they want to talk? Is it only matter of fact? You can become on one end like some of the international news channels are there, that I'll only stick to very serious kind of news making. That each brand of news channels will have to make a choice, because in many decision making context, we talk about it in context as qualitative factors. What we actually mean is really context and how is that impacting the business. So if news channels have to continue to grow and the impact it has from a marketing side, if it has great impact on the business, and there are many studies, market mix models all saying what is the impact of news on business. If that increases, there'll be more money which will come back of news. Otherwise, it will always become a reach versus frequency versus rate versus CPRP versus CPM, whatever.
Whatever is.
We will still be in the what we call the output and not outcome game.
Very interesting. AP, AK, you guys want to take any of the things which Vikram and Karthik? I'm getting questions here on my panel, and I had like another 6-8 questions to go, but I think I'll take the audience questions first. But first, if you would like to react to.
Just a quick comment, actually, not even a comment, but looking at the universe of the role of news channels. Look from an advertising perspective. While we do talk about the GECs and things like that, there are a certain set of corporate advertisers who through accredited advertising agencies around fairly big ticket size in terms of their outlays. But there is also the massive universe. The number of advertisers on news in India is obviously far in excess of the number of advertisers who advertise on a general entertainment channel. For them, their brand building only happens via news. And they run fairly successful businesses just on the back of advertising on news channels. In fact, there have been instances, examples like, though we all talk about it like a brand like Patanjali, which actually built itself on the back of news channels to start with. So the fact that it depends on the advertiser or the category of advertiser on how best to leverage the reach of a particular medium, right? The fact is that the reach is there. And the fact of the matter is that people will spend more amount of time watching a movie or watching a sitcom or a serial on a GEC. It won't spend that much amount of time on a news channel. So the challenges are there, but there are also use cases on how best to use this. Because unlike a GEC, the news and a news channel, the number of people in a news channel is cumulatively adding every single minute all through the day, because different people watch news at different points of time. So there isn't just one single time where everybody comes with an appointment to Vivek. So different walk-ins, which is why you see the aggregate cumulative reach is very high. But you will not see all the people on at one point of time, which is where appointment viewing comes in, right? So many clients and many, like I said, the regional channels, right? As a network, for example, if I were to give an example of Network 18, Network 18 has more than 4,300 active advertisers advertising on our 20 news channels in a year. Now that's a massive piece if you compare to a GEC, which will probably have only 300 advertisers in a year. One time I'm talking about. But even if you aggregate, the ticket size is very small, which means the way the advertisers use us is very, very different. So there are advertisers who only come for something which is non-FCT, which is known as Ashton bands, where they communicate to trade and different things. So very smart advertisers, very differently using the platform at different day parts to communicate and have built very successful business. So there are two Indias in that sense. There is definitely the point of view that Karthik is saying is absolutely valid, but there is also this other part which I thought, I'll bring to the fore.
I want to come back to you on the number of advertisers, not just the number of, but also the per unit rate or per unit return that a GC gets, a successful GC gets versus a successful news channel. And there's a huge difference there. But AP, you want to first weigh in on this? And I'm getting loads of questions. So let's move on to the questions from the audience. Actually, my questions.
I completely agree with what Paul has just said. That at the end of the day, we are in a business to serve consumer about what's happening around. And in the process, Indian manufacturers with Indian brands, they are building their brands without looking much at the data, CPT, CPRP, or etc. anything. They are looking at return on the invested capital on advertising, but both in the sales number. That's the only criteria. In fact, much before the digital medium started selling on cost per click or cost per sale, actually news channel was doing it for a long time without being measured for something like that. So, having said that, there are some interesting questions coming on the...
Yeah. So the first question, which is here, it's from an anonymous attendee, but it dovetails with something that I had, that, my point was, do advertisers, and specifically to Vikram and Karthik, do you have quali filters? Because when you say context, then does perception come in? And this question is worded very well, much better than the question I had. It says that you buy a lot of genres based on perception and not necessarily numerical delivery. Can you not look at ratings while buying news, as that might make news less noise and more news, less sensational and more sense, because the journalists are good. The point here is that there is a built-in incentive in the market to get eyeballs, because it's an ad dependent market. It's not a subscription or a pay dependent market. And that necessarily means an LCM, a lowest common denominator kind of programming. And this is true for GECs, news, everything. And so there's no value judgment here. So how do you build in these filters? And is that the advertiser's response? You could say it's not my business, I don't need to do it. But I'd like to hear the advertiser's way on mute.
You want me to go in first on it? Okay.
Yeah. Vikram, Karthik, why don't you take it first? Vikram is on mute. Huh?
Okay. So there are 2-3. It's not like one solution for all advertisers, right? It's not just we blindly only look at quality factors. Even when you're saying quality factors, most agencies, I would guess, is that they will also be looking at reach and time spent and other things and profile and stuff like that. But when the numbers are small for say an upcoming news channel, then you are putting these filters. These filters, finally, why you are putting, the only objective most marketers are interested is their business should grow. I don't think anybody is advertising for just the fun of it. So they either you will have heuristics understanding, anecdotal understanding, by and large saying, hey, when I did this seems to work. So many of the advertisers which Avinash Kaul spoke about are likely to have spent money, and this is my conjecture, and I could be wrong, where they only spend money on news channels, and they have seen
success. Absolutely, yeah.
So but when you have other type of advertisers where news is one of the component and they are spending in say GEC or movies or any other such genres, then how do you untangle the effect and figure it out is always going to be a challenge, unless you have some kind of a scientific method like a modeling or other kinds of tests that you do. And advertisers do that. The third is that just sheer experimentation, where you say, I will put excess money here in news, I will reduce money here. It is almost like what we do in digital, like A/B testing. I will try various formats and I will do that. We haven't seen enough of that in the context, and people therefore fall broadly between these two kind of categories. The other category of advertisers is where the business is by and large digital. Say, for example, a client in BFSI category, where they are not so much worried about ratings as a metric to buy, but they are worried about app download or some kind of interaction.
Reaction to it.
So there things like attribution modeling comes into play, where every rupee that you're spending, let's say you're spending on 5 news channels, then I'm trying to figure out which news channel gave me the delta on my app download. And that's how it gets picked up. So there are various practices already being followed. It may not, obviously, these are proprietary to either the agency or to the client, and may not be available to public domain.
Okay, noted. Vikram, you want to weigh in or should we move to the next?
Well, I agree with Karthik. I'm saying the same thing differently. If you have to go, people use or make inventory choices on the basis of do you want to get your ad seen? There's top of the funnel awareness. At that point in time, we definitely look at numbers. It could also be the entire engagement game of trying to build associative content, contextual, whatever you have it. So there's a lot of properties that we try to build along with news channels. At that time, we don't look at ratings and you just look at the environment. The third is the bottom of the funnel, where you're trying to drive some performance, where we're using tools where every spot that you put on, were you able to attribute some kind of action to it? So we use these 3 kind of things: ratings for overall viewership, engagement is a qualitative strategic kind of angle, and performance is very, very outcome based.
You know, something you guys have said earlier, and which Avinash Kaul and Avinash Pandey, and especially AK said, about the fact that news channels actually performed a public service when COVID break. And when anything happens, they do perform a public service because they help you get information, they disseminate that information. So, you know, during a crisis, they do, you could debate all sorts of other issues around them, but they do perform a public service with the very fact of their existence. And they are ultimately, this particular product is also a public good in some ways. I'm not saying that these companies are public companies or something, but it is a public good, and there is a public good this thing. And I think that is where a whole lot of the questions also coming from, that what we have seen happening to news channels in India, I mean, they become a case study globally on how standards in news journalism can fall. And isn't that something that bothers advertisers? Doesn't that put advertisers, and don't they worry about the context in which they advertise with these news channels? I'm not talking about specific channels. I'm saying that there is Indian news channels have the work. I have been on panels in the UK where I've had to defend Indian news media because our reputation is crap. Let's put it simply. So how does one balance? I am not debating your frequency. Yeah, please.
Look, if your question is that,
I'm saying there's a built-in incentive to get eyeballs, and that built-in incentive destroys the journalism.
Yeah,
so what do you?
I think you're talking about a quantity versus quality debate,
and they can be balanced.
Allow me to.
Yeah. Sorry.
So this has been. I remember. Gosh, when I was working in Procter & Gamble 30 years back, I used to have this kind of thing come saying that, is the environment in which you're advertising, would you pay a premium for that? And at that point in time, some very wise people taught me that if your target audience is watching a particular program or a certain this thing, and they see your ad, that's all that matters. So the fact that you are, I mean, if you just placed your ad in an environment, there's no reason why that ad should actually get tainted because of that environment. Because it's a consumer who's seeing it, and then your ad appears and they process the ad. So if you go down that path, the quantity debate is going to win. And there are a lot of people who think that channel X, which may be very salacious, may very sensational, may have all and everything that you think is wrong with journalism they're doing, but they're getting the people. End of day, if the audience watching it is kosher, then the spot which they're seeing it is also fine. So it may not please you to hear that.
No, that's okay. I have said this for Saas Bahu serials, so why can't we say it for
I don't think we should pass judgment on Saas Bahu serials, and maybe the most profound piece of entertainment also going around.
I have defended them, Vikram, that's what I'm saying.
Very good. So but out here, I think so at one level, I think this is, at least on TV, I still think that quantity is going to be way more than quality, which is why everybody is so driven by it, actually want to bring breaking news, and I said it first, and
yeah.
So that's why all the channels, my good friends out here, they do their best to make sure that everybody knows that they're doing the best. The environment gets different when it's digital. Maybe we're not talking digital today, but
no, we are. I have questions, and there are audience questions.
If you're in an environment, like for example, take a Facebook, and that's an entire issue which is coming out there. It gets very difficult to distinguish your post. If your post is coming in the middle of a news feed, and it's got some offensive stuff on the top and bottom of that, willy-nilly you're part of that news feed. It's not now we are taking a break and now break ad starts. So you're very much integral to the entire thing. Or if you go and click on a piece of content which is offensive and you have a mid-roll going in that, there is a problem of the kind of placement that you've done. So the same quantity versus quality issue, which is I think is not an issue in TV, is very much an issue online.
Fair enough. A question for Avinash Kaul. You have dedicated news channels in almost all Indian states. Do you think it is time for news to go deeper and hyper-local? Can we have district and dialect-based news channels? Anirban Chaudhary's asked you. I think some of it, yeah.
Absolutely, Manita. I mean, if you remember at the start of this conversation, you yourself alluded when the first private news channel operated in India. From then till now, it's 20 years. In 20 years, from 4-5 channels to now 400 channels, it's been a long journey. So what happens today is, like, we have 20 news channels catering to, like Anirban is mentioning, almost all the states in India. Now what happens is, there are 739 districts in India. We have reporters everywhere, right? In most of these, because that's where the thing happens. So today there is news already on television from all the districts in India. It may not have a dedicated 24-hour channel for a particular district today, but the compulsions with which a television news network operates, because it is linear business and it has a 24-hour cycle, means that the technology behind it and there are people behind it to make the 24-hour work. It may not always be viable. But when it comes to digital, which is already what we are seeing, there is definitely a use case for news to become extremely hyper local down to your literally geography around where you are, a couple of kilometers from where you are, because the dimensions of news will also change. So for example, if you were to look back at the olden days, 20 years earlier, there was one news channel that would cover international, that would cover general news, that would cover hyper local, that would cover everything that surfaces to those levels.
Or Doordarshan and its Kendras, if you remember.
When you have separate news channels, it kind of distills. So each one takes a different position. So somebody takes, let's say, politics as a position. Somebody takes sports plus politics plus social news plus different activities as a platform. But when you go and more news channels, then geography defines it, language defines it.
Totally.
For a certain time, that you do not see a reason why there will not be a News 18 brand for just Allahabad as an area, right? Because there is now the way the news will get constructed, there will be different. So the national news, the national issues will not always be center stage there, but the local civic issues will take predominance. Or what is wrong with the area around Allahabad, as an example? How can this be fixed? The municipal corporation of those places. So the texture will change. Now, is that content sufficient enough for 24-hour cycle? Answer is perhaps not today. But which is why digital news and bulletins catering to that will probably be more earlier in vogue, because you can even target those only to those geographies, and the investment required for doing that is very minimal in comparison to launching full-fledged 24-hour television news network. So are we seeing it happen? The answer is yes. Dialect-based as well as district-based.
But there, in fact, I wanted to, one of my questions was, but because we have so many other questions, is what is the trajectory on digital been during these 5.5, 6 months? And does that show you anything on the way forward for both of you as news broadcasters or for the advertisers?
There's been a massive surge on digital video consumption.
And for your brands, I mean.
Yes, absolutely. For our brands as well. I mean, a massive surge.
Okay, Avinash Pandey, there's a question for you. Despite high viewership, the revenues remained flat. Do you think it would have been different had you focused on subscription revenue more? People would have liked to buy a news channel as an essential service by paying a premium. I know it won't happen, but Avinash Pandey, I know the news market. I know the news consumer.
Have been true. So as I asked this question, the revenue was not flat, it declined. So,
it's an anonymous attendee.
Yeah. We would not have been discussing what happened during the COVID.
Yeah.
But yes, the model which the news channels are based on is intrinsically flawed, and the nemesis of its demise is rooted in its business model. It's so heavily dependent on advertising, or solely dependent on advertising, that you end up chasing the wrong goose all through the day. What Vikram talked about, that at the end the advertiser is looking at the eyeballs. The problem is that you are not looking at the subscription money. And because you're not looking at subscription money, and in India, I have always maintained that services are close to servility. People don't like to pay for services, and which has led to the situation that you can give a waiter after every time you order food 200 rupees. You want to pay 200 rupees for a channel in a month, which you want to watch 30 days, every day 1 hour. That's the problem of the business. Now because we are chasing advertising money, the business model is such that when the COVID crisis, non-crisis revenue will go better.
There is an interesting question here. One of these questions, Vikram, you've already answered, the environment in which news channels, and there's a Vivo example someone has used. One question is from somebody called JK, which says, where have the new viewers come from? Small towns or city? Is their profile different from existing viewers? Anybody would like to weigh in on here?
See, the thing is, if I was to attempt to take it, I mean, the new viewers they come from everywhere, because if on an average, people were spending close to 3 hours watching television, at a point of time during the COVID, they were watching 5+ hours, 6 hours of television. which means that obviously they were in my home, they were in all our homes, because where else would you go? You would watch television. So a lot of people who may not tune in every day to news started tuning in daily and starting tuning in more number of times in a day than they had ever done before. They also came in at all times of the day. So the prime time definitions lost their meaning. I mean, we were seeing in the daytime viewership equivalent to what we would normally see on 9 o'clock. And to be honest, most of the news channels, in the absence of any barometer for understanding what content choices people were making, and because we were running also news channels and there was no precedence to it, and we had to keep the safety of our own people in mind, some of us attempted to run chunks of pre-recorded shows so as to lessen the number of people in our offices.
Okay.
What ended up happening is, that was a call that you think that's going to work. But some of these didn't work because people wanted just more and more of news related to Corona, right? So very quickly, when the ratings came in, and there was a discussion at that time, should we not suspend ratings completely? But the idea was if you suspended, then you wouldn't know what's happening, what's working. So obviously the news ratings kept on coming. It gave us an opportunity to hone our content better. So very soon you saw most of the news channels change their content strategy and give people more and more of Corona news, even if it meant going into the field, covering more and more news and the various dimensions of the news. So that's why you saw the migrant population and their woes coming up. You saw, the darker side of, society where, people, especially, the females, when you are in a situation where you're locked in with your own tormentor, or people with depression.
But that was, it was true globally, by the way, yeah. Domestic abuse and
A lot of these news stories gave a very different dimension to people, which normally wouldn't have got picked up, right? Plus a lot of the international news, a lot of those things. So it just enabled it to really get all kinds of people into the mix.
Okay, great. At this point, I must ask everybody, please post in your questions because I'm getting a lot of them and then I'd like to run through them and choose what we can use for our panelists. There's a question which I think Vikram or Karthik can answer. Between now and December, maybe beyond, will news channels see new types of advertisers? What categories will they come from? I think we alluded to this in the beginning in some other context, but if you guys could throw a little more light on this.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they'll see any new advertisers because at this point in time, from now till December, two things are happening. Impact is getting dialed up big time. IPL,
Big Boss,
KBC and Big Boss are always there. IPL is a new one. Now, all three of them bring in new viewers. Every time we've seen it. So all your new viewers are going to go there. Number two, GCs have started coming back with fresh programming. So people who want the daily fix are going to get fresh fix of their content. So they're going to go there. So actually, their news will have to do some fantastic rearguard action to hold on to the shares, which they've actually enjoyed.
Okay. Karthik, anything you'd like to add?
No, I think I would agree with Vikram on this point. I don't think there will be new set of advertisers coming in. Maybe there are one or two odd cases. But by and large, a lot of advertisers who didn't spend during the COVID and who have plans, they will all come back. And of course, with all the other big properties happening in the market, money will get distributed across.
Yeah, I'll also just qualify the point that if there were some advertisers who were completely absent in this period, some categories. Retail has been very silent. So durables have been very silent. So if they are to come back, then yes, of course, news can be part of their plans. But the categories which were already advertising, I think most of them who wanted to advertise have already come onto news.
So a bit of a variation, if I may suggest, in terms of, the COVID has thrown up very interesting possibilities. The fact that online education has radically altered the face of education in India has thrown up categories of advertisers that were never existing before. The people who are catering to the new ecosystem or the new lifestyle that we are all adopting, and in the absence of a vaccine in the very foreseeable future, a lot of different kind of advertisers are already surfacing in many ways. Now, they may not be traditionally, very big and very traditional in their nature, but their nature of communication is very, very, very different. And actually, we are seeing a lot of those emerging from even the regional centers and not just the, bubbling up to the national scene. They're not very big, but it's a very,
Can you share an example?
it's a very encouraging trend. I mean, like Vikram used the word that let's not name any names. So I would like not name any names, but what is happening is, there are furniture manufacturers who are making stuff which are, let's say, in some ways COVID resistant, or let's say there are some sanitizers, new brands which are emerging, which have some different variation. There's a clothing line which is emerging, which is supposedly, has, some amount of germicidal activity that, it can probably, something will get high. Because a lot of these clients have done a lot of R&D during this period on how to better represent themselves and their products in the new scheme of things. Now, those are now finding the traction by coming and advertising their wares. So somebody,
I think Avinash raises a very good point, because if you go back to the history of news, turn of the century, Aaj Tak had actually provided a segue for the local advertisers with the hosiery, all those vests and underwear, and then later on the gen sets, inverters. All of them came in from basically very, very localized media to mass media through news. And I think it's just that you're seeing that entire sort of lexicon changing to a little bit, which is coming in the form of these, whether it's online educators or the like.
But also, AK, this is the same trajectory that newspapers have followed. So if you look at Malayalam Manorama, or you look at an Anand Bazar Patrika, the newspaper,
what is also local. What is also happening, Vanita, is given the impact of advertising on print and outdoor, it is heavy, and they had a huge number of advertisers on them. And a lot of them are finding now opportunities to advertise on news, in television news. So, if you see, like what Vikram said, that news has always been at the forefront of getting new people into the advertising fraternity. And our teams have been extremely busy just doing that. And we've seen fantastic traction, actually. Ticket size might be fairly small, no doubt. But we are imagining, we are envisaging a situation a couple of years down the line when these products become really mainstream and really big. And these are like, really amazing stuff which is happening. Somebody is creating just, furniture lines just for work from home environment, right? On how can you do those things? I mean, these are small. I mean, you wouldn't have probably heard of them, but very exciting stuff happening, which is just the spirit of Indian entrepreneurship is coming to the fore, because people have realized that some of their product lines were no longer working. So they rejigged and now are ready with their communication plan for the next wave.
Okay. Again, there's another question on the whole quality filter from Mona Jain, so I'm not getting into that. What about content security while anchoring from home?
Well, content security always has been a challenge. I mean, it is a challenge not only for us, it is a challenge for everybody. Like if you were to look at the agency businesses, even their financial information now going through unsecured filters, release orders getting generated over, we could argue that, even the platform on which this conversation is happening could be perceived to be, let's say, non-secure in many ways. That's a reality. And there are business models which are adapting to make sure that we are quicker than, what the hackers are up to, or what the, security issues are. But
if you want to weigh in on that, on content security?
So, as such, television is not a medium where we are just breaking news. Not so much happening that you see on television which you have not seen on Twitter, Facebook, or your WhatsApp. News television is analysis and proof of that. I don't think so that was a serious threat when we were doing anything from home. So.
Okay. There is this interesting question. Earlier this week, Pratyusha, she's the Chief Consumer Officer at Zee, she spoke at Television Week on some other session. And she spoke about a new prime time for GECs. And that's happened for news also. Prime time, the difference between prime time and non-prime time blurred. Is that here to stay, or do you see it going back to normal? And what does it mean for your business?
Avinash, you want to go for it? So if a lot of it is reflective of what is happening in the world around us. So the moment the regulation opens up or the local administration opens up offices going back, it means that people will start to commute in cars, spend that much amount on traffic, reaching at a particular time home, and then switching on and watching television. So the daytime viewership is likely to suffer on those consequences. But there is also a huge percentage of the population, working population, who have now decided to work from home, or the organizations have decided to work from home. Now they might boost up the afternoon viewership if the people are not supposedly doing their work but watching channels, right? I mean, we would love them to watch, but
What's the mood?
yeah, it's a reality, right? So
It was my first question when the surge happened. I said, if everybody is WFH, then why is this surge happening in TV viewership?
So the question to ask is that we have not yet fully come out of it, right? Even if I show you the camera around in my office, it's largely empty, right? We are right now operating with 35% staff, right? So large parts of it is empty. So while a lot of the complexes, the residential complexes where we stay, a lot of the people are still at home. So they are still consuming. Now the normal will be defined by when the vaccine comes and whether life goes back to normal. So we are a part of that larger ecosystem, and we'll go with, we'll take it as it comes.
Okay, there's this question on, we've touched upon it, but there's a question on with growth in digital news consumption. In the future, will we see a combo sales of offline and online inventory by news channels? And I would add another question here. I know that BARC has been trying Ekam for a long time, and that I know that news channels are the most vocal and difficult customers of BARC. But are we looking at, would blended metrics help solve some of the problems? Because your representation in the sample is so small that it doesn't show up, and that's the big issue for news channels. So it's a combination of two questions: online, offline. Can that be combo sold? And also, therefore, would you look at blended metrics? Is there something that you can sort of push the ecosystem to do more efficiently?
I think
From a network marketing standpoint, the answer is yes. From a
Yes.
network marketing standpoint, the answer is yes.
we are doing that.
We are doing online and offline sales together.
You are.
Yes, we are.
How do you mind? I mean, how do you sell them? How does a
So what has happened
Issues?
is obviously a lot of video content now, internet online sales, digital sales is not just relegated to now impressions, coming from display ads. Video is a large form of it.
Okay.
And video is something that, is what comes from television in large more ways than one. And views is a metric, which is also used on online inventory. And the time spent is also a metric used on online inventory.
Online. So engagement is what it works on.
While measurement might still be far away, but from an effort basis, the efforts are already out in the market.
Okay. Okay. Karthik, Vikram, you want and AP?
Is the
Sorry,
question.
AP?
Agencies will buy like that.
We didn't get you.
Vikram and Karthik, I'm asking.
Yeah, agencies would definitely like to buy a combined
like
kind of
that.
thing. So we would like it if it is both TV and online is sold. The reality today is that most of the online inventory, it's far cheaper if you buy it programmatically through any of the other, should we say, aggregators.
Correct.
And some of the, so whereas I don't, so where I think, I mean, if one loose analogy is, till some time back, you could watch all the general GEC programs on YouTube. Then one fine day, all channels took a policy decision that we will not let them show our content and just launch it only on our own OTT apps. So at this point in time, of course, the news by the same token is right now available in a number of places. So I think there is also a very large issue of are the news creators being able to monetize everywhere it's actually being shown. And I know there are conversations happening with the giants and all the rest of them, but at least even today, when I have to, as an agency, buy it, I can buy it much cheaper, the same inventory, if I go through a programmatic and then an exchange.
You guys want to? Yeah. Karthik?
Yeah, I think that reality what Vikram spoke about is what is operating right now. And yes, we would like to buy it in a combined way, but the cost efficiencies given all the things that you just heard from Vikram, it's a smarter way to buy programmatic, and we are getting to know the consumer much better, right? So why do we not want to do that? So it's not an easy equation that we can solve for.
5 o'clock.
Sorry?
But it's not an easy equation today to solve for. But if there is an opportunity to buy it at competitive prices, yes, definitely agencies would like to buy that. as a combined offer?
Well, I think it's a dream which has not happened anywhere in the world. So we are still struggling with it. And I find the fact is that many of the biggest guys, and that's Google and Facebook, will not allow the linkages to happen to data. Till you have a third party, I mean, till today, for me to get a list of the top 10 news brands in India online, I have to write mails to people personally and then get that data to some degree of accuracy, unlike Bark, which there is an issue. Anyway, lovely questions also, which I've had to give up on. Some of them were slightly focused on the sensational part of news, so I've not sort of got them in because then we get derailed completely. Thank you so much, all of you. I think I had so many questions which haven't been answered, but I'll ask them to you offline. Thank you so much. Lovely discussion. And thank you for your time. And thank you to presenting sponsor again, Nickelodeon and Apex and Shrikant. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Anita.
Bye. And have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks.